Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Janaína Koenen. I'm a doctor, I'm an endocrinologist, and I'm going to talk to you about myself a bit so you know the history behind the doctor, okay? So, I'm Brazilian. I graduated in medical school in 2003 in a university called Universidade Federal de Minas Gerais, which is a state, Minas Gerais in Brazil. It's in the city of Belo Horizonte. In 2003, I did my first residence in internal medicine. Then afterwards, I did endocrinology residence. I did my title test, I passed. I did my master's degree in new drugs for diabetes. I studied angiotensin 1 to 7. I did phase 1 study in patients, in healthy patients. Afterwards, I worked for a while as a preceptorship, as a teacher in a university hospital with residents and students from medical school. So I was for 5 years working with amputees, diabetic patients who needed insulin in the hospital, and I was doing all this glucose control and trying to develop protocols inside the hospital, struggling with the bad diets and bread and fruits. You know how unhealthy diet is inside the hospitals for diabetic patients. So I was for 5 years seeing patients being amputated, and there's when I started to read about low-carb diets and change my whole perspective and my approach to diabetic patients and to my life too. So I had very bad migraines in that time, and when I started doing a ketogenic diet, I cured my migraines. I had hypoglycemia too, and I cured that too. So after changing my lifestyle and studying a lot more, I realized that I could do more for my patients. So I changed some protocols. I started reversing prediabetes, reversing type 2 diabetes, withdrawing insulin from patients who were taking insulin for 10 years with good results. And then I realized I had to show everyone else that this really works. And it was serious work. It was evidence-based medicine. And then I did my Brazilian YouTube, my Portuguese YouTube, which is full of Brazilian videos and Portuguese videos. And everyone keeps telling me, Janaina, you must do your English YouTube. I said, okay, I'll do it now. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to bring some videos I have in English to this YouTube, and I'm going to start recording and doing podcasts here. I hope you enjoyed. Keep in mind that most of what I say, or everything I say, I try to keep it as close as I can to evidence-based medicine. It doesn't mean it is in the guidelines though, right? Because we know nowadays how biased are the guidelines, how cherry-picking are the guidelines. They're useful, yes, but we must read them now with some, how should I put it? Well, we have to have sense of critic, and we have to weigh the pros and cons when we read these guidelines nowadays. And we always have to look for more in the literature, in the scientific evidence-based literature. So I invite you to follow me, to talk to me. We'll do some live podcasts, and I'll be eager to talk to you all. Share my podcasts, share my videos with anyone you know. I'm mostly interested in cancer. Well, cancer, yeah, she's an endocrinologist. Well, yes. I'm very interested in metabolic therapies for cancer. I love ketogenic metabolic therapies. I work with this too. I love Alzheimer's disease and neurodegenerative disease, sorry. And I have some Alzheimer's patients too. I like the RECODE protocol. And I work also with endometriosis, obesity, and diabetes, of course, right? And all the endocrinology diseases. And I work with thyroid disease too. So we'll be talking about a lot of stuff.